All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Henry. We're super excited to ask you some of these questions, get some of your insights, especially with the beautiful view behind you. That always makes these more enjoyable, right?
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to jump right in. Our first question is that you are in a very competitive state. How does your team go about gaining new clients? What's working for you right now?
Absolutely. Well, it's taken a little while, but it's really coming down to trust and track record for us. So we've been around for a little while. Our first client in ABA was from over 7 years ago, and they're still with us today. And the very first bot we built with them still does work every night, posting payments, right? And so this type of
Awesome.
reputation has been really important, specifically our ability to deliver problem solution fit, which doesn't always happen with software. And so, in fact, I think it was last year, Class Research, they did an independent study. They kind of evaluate healthcare vendors, and they found that, talked to our customers independently and found that 100% of them achieved the expected outcomes, which we're very proud of, and that all of them wanted to do more business with us, which is what we've seen as well, which is great. And so I
Wow,
think this is just last fall, they honored us with a award where we got recognized as the number three emerging IT solution in healthcare for reducing the cost of care in the US, which I'm very proud of.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So tell us too. Then, how do you go about finding talent as you're expanding, as you're growing? How do you go about your hiring processes?
Our hiring process has been good. We went earlier on in the company history, we went a non-traditional route. We went a lot to people who were doing software as a second career. So I myself, even though I did have a software background, didn't really study computer science. I was a minor in computer science, but I didn't really study it. I thought I was unqualified to do the job, and then I found that actually most of the stuff you learn on the job. And so I gave the chance to a lot of ambitious young professionals who were doing a second stint in their career, moving into coding, and we found that to be an excellent source of talent. Oftentimes more mature than college grads because they've had experience in other careers, and they bring perspectives from other industries that help as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's a creative approach. It makes a lot of sense. So, speaking about your background, then, what inspired you to leave what was a pretty promising career to start Simple Fractal?
Yeah. You know, it was I think a mixture of ambition and ignorance, if I'm to be honest. I was 23 at the time. I was naive. I also kind of knew that I was naive, but it helped me, I think, take the risk that it means to go and start your own company. I think the ignorance also helped me though, because I didn't claim to know everything, right, when I worked with our clients. Instead, I came in with an open mind, very humble, and really wanted to listen and learn what are your problems? How does your business work? How does software fit in here? And I think that allowed me to really hone that problem solution fit that I was talking about earlier and not kind of force, square peg into a round hole kind of thing, but rather understand the problem, understand why is this a problem that's worth solving, and then try to solve that with technology.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So, how large are you guys these days? How many locations do you work with? How many groups are you partnered with?
Oh, yeah. So we work with dozens of organizations. We're all over the country now, both in terms of clients and staff. And so it's been good, and we're starting to build a more specialized team as well, and so to have more depth in our organization. And excitingly for me, just starting this year, we've done some more structured R&D initiatives into other tooling. So our company, Simple Fractal, historically focused on automation through RPA, robotic process automation, and we used other software techniques too. But this year, we really leaned into agentic AI, which we find very interesting. Has its own pros and cons, but it's developing very quickly, and we certainly see it as a valuable tool in the toolkit, depending on the problem we need to solve.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. What's been most surprising to you about the process of automating human tasks? And are there an example that you can give us that was particularly that kind of stuck out in your mind?
Oof. Yeah, I mean, there's a few. There are a couple unsolicited quotes that come to mind. So one was from a clinic manager in ABA, and this was unsolicited. They just told, I think the COO it was, that later related it to us. But the clinic manager said, the favorite thing about my job is that a bot is doing my job so that I can do my job.
I like
And I
that.
love that quote. I really do, right? I think what you mean is that's so I can do my real job, right? Very often you end up with people who sign up for something. And in our field, in ABA and human services, a lot of people are mission driven, right? They do this maybe because they have a family member that can relate to this and they want to help the community. So when they sign up for this, they want to have a more direct impact on the community. But for some people, you get stuck doing we call it the necessary grunt work, right? The stuff that needs to get done in order for the business to operate, for everybody to get paid, and for them to continue their mission, but maybe isn't their favorite thing to do. And that's exactly the sweet spot for automation for us.
It's awesome. Yeah. The stuff that has to get done but no one wants to do is the stuff that robots can do best generally.
Exactly. And so, I mean, that eventually formed our mission statement, which is to elevate human work,
Yeah.
right? We think
Love
that
that.
there's so much necessary grunt work that needs to get done. In the past, there was no other way. Again, it's necessary, right? Someone's got to do it. These days, it's not really necessary anymore. In fact, we believe that bots and agents can oftentimes do it better, freeing up people they can bring back the human connection to healthcare and really focus on their mission and serve more people better.
Yeah. That makes complete sense. Makes complete sense. So shifting gears then and kind of how you approach building out your systems. How do you navigate the kind of the clean precision of engineered responses and of creating bots with kind of the messy realities of human interactions?
I've seen so much mess now, I'm used to it. Well, I would say, kind of as someone who started off as an engineer, it's sometimes still tempting to jump into solutions right away.
Yeah.
And I have to be very cognizant and train my team to be very cognizant about this as well. Don't jump to solution. What I've learned over the years is that the problem is usually more important. And so if a client or a prospect is describing something, before you get too excited about, oh yeah, I could solve it this way, I could build this, I could do that. Yeah, you probably could. That's awesome. But hey, let's first focus on what is truly the problem and why does it matter? Why does it matter to solve this problem? And so these days we have a workshop technique, one of my favorites, which we call the Genie workshop, which is, hey, if a bot genie showed up, you got any bot just free and it works the way you want it to by tomorrow, what would you pick? Right? And I hear people thinking, oh, I probably want this. I want hosting. I want billing. I want compliance. I want whatever. Scheduling. And then we always follow up with why? Why this one? Tell me why that's a great idea. Right? And this helps us really hone in on, is this meaningful to solve? If we assume that it can be done and it's done right, how will it make an impact for your organization? I think it's really important to do that step first before getting too excited about the solution and potentially just spinning wheels, right? Building something really cool, but doesn't solve a meaningful problem in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Or it solves the problem that you thought was the problem, but no one actually needs that one solved.
Sure,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. That makes complete sense. Perfect. Well, those are our questions for you. We really appreciate having you on. Those are some you have very tight, refined answers. I can tell that these are topics you talk about all the time. So we
Well,
appreciate it.
thank you for your kind words. It's been a pleasure to be on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Henry.